All right, folks, buckle up for this one.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into the case file of Ilyu Itzkovitz,
Julius, but it's
a Holocaust survivor,
Yeah.
and his story.
Yeah.
It takes us from Romania during the war
Wow.
all the way to the jungles of Vietnam.
Vietnam, huh?
It's a story of survival vengeance.
Ooh, this is gonna be good.
And it really makes us think about some tough questions about justice
Yeah.
and what trauma can do to a person.
Trauma is so powerful.
It really is.
It's like Itzkovitz's story.
Yeah.
What gets me about it is how it's so connected to like the bigger picture, history.
Absolutely.
It's not just like his own personal thing. It's like a window into how brutal the Holocaust was.
Yeah.
And all the messed up stuff that happened after.
Definitely. To understand the choices he makes, we need to start at the beginning, right?
Okay, so beginning.
Ilyu, or Eli, as he was known, was born in the early 1930s in a little town in Bessarabia called Kisha.
Little town.
Picturesque place, from what I've read.
Nice.
Had a happy, totally normal childhood.
Normal childhood.
His
parents.
3 older brothers.
Oh, wow. So a big family.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine how different things became.
Yeah, like night and day, right?
Exactly. That difference is so important, though.
Oh, absolutely.
That joy, that stability early on makes the brutality he faces even more shocking.
Yeah, you're right.
And it probably plays a part in what he does later.
Like you can imagine, right, having everything just ripped away, your whole life just gone like that.
Just like that. And everything changes in 1940 when this guy, Ion Antonescu,
takes over.
Romains over.
Takes over.
Total dictator.
Oh, boy.
Obsessed with this idea of racial purity.
That's never good.
He actually said, and this is a direct quote,
Go on.
"I give the mob a license to massacre the Jews. After the slaughter, I will restore order." That's chilling.
It's chilling stuff. Really is.
That quote just shows you, the horrible reality of violence that the government, allows to happen.
Yeah.
This wasn't just, a few bad apples.
Right.
This was a whole system organized by the government to persecute and just wipe out an entire group of people.
And in this system of terror, we find the Kishanau ghetto.
The ghetto.
Over 11,000 Jews forced into this tiny area.
Oh, man.
Barely a square mile.
Wow.
Disease everywhere, not enough food, and the guards were constantly violent.
So these ghettos, they were a big part of, the Nazi plan, right?
Yeah, the final solution, as they called it.
The final solution, yeah.
Designed to isolate, dehumanize, and ultimately eliminate entire Jewish communities.
That's just
horrifying. And Kishanau was no different.
No.
One detail that really got to me.
Okay, what's that?
450 Jews were taken for forced labor.
Forced labor?
Only 39 came back. Oh, my God.
It's just... how do you even comprehend that level of cruelty?
I know.
And in this hellish place, there was this one guard, Stănescu, who was particularly brutal.
Oh, no.
Total sadist, known for getting drunk and just, loving to inflict pain.
I mean, Stănescu becomes the poster child for just how cruel they were.
Right.
But it's important to remember, he wasn't some, one-off thing.
Absolutely.
Romania's own foreign minister said it himself.
Really? What did he say?
The guards had complete freedom.
Wow.
Meaning no laws, no one to answer to.
Unchecked power.
Yeah, and we all know what that leads to.
And tragically, it's Stănescu who murders Ilyu's entire family.
Oh, God.
In 1941.
41.
Ilyu was only 10.
10 years old.
And he finds the bodies of his parents.
Oh, that's awful.
And his brothers.
Just awful.
Brutally murdered.
Don't you even imagine?
That's an image that would stay with anyone forever.
Absolutely. And I bet that's where, the survivor's guilt really kicks in.
Survivor's guilt.
Yeah, it's common with Holocaust survivors.
Right.
This need to avenge the people they lost.
Huh.
Almost like they're trying to make up for the fact that they survived.
And right there, facing this unimaginable loss, 10-year-old Ilyu makes a vow.
A vow.
Revenge.
Yeah.
And that vow becomes his guiding principle.
It's like his compass.
Yeah, guiding him through everything that comes next.
It's important to, remember revenge. You get it in Ilyu's case, but it's, a complicated thing and often really dangerous.
Yeah.
It can eat you up inside. It can turn you into a prisoner of your own trauma.
And that idea of being trapped, both physically and mentally, becomes this recurring theme in his story.
So He gets out of the ghetto, right?
Yeah, he manages to escape. He hides with a Christian family for 3 long years.
3 years.
Until Romania is liberated by the Soviets in 1944. But his journey is far from over.
I mean, liberation doesn't just, like, magically erase all the trauma, right?
No, not at all.
And for Eliu, that desire for revenge is like, it becomes the only thing that matters.
Right.
He starts searching for Stănescu.
Okay.
Traveling all across Europe.
Wow.
Which is still a mess after the war.
Yeah.
He's just desperate to find the man who took everything from him.
It's like he escapes one prison.
Yeah.
Only to end up in another one.
One of his own making, right?
Exactly. And during this search, he actually runs into Stănescu's son.
Oh, wow.
Things get out of hand. Violence breaks out, and Eliu ends up in prison for 5 years.
5 years.
It's kind of ironic, you know? Even while he's trying to find justice.
Yeah.
He's stuck in this cycle of violence.
It makes you think, you know.
It really does.
Can you ever really have justice after so much suffering?
Right. Like, does revenge really fix anything?
Or does it just cause more pain?
Exactly. Tough questions.
Tough questions.
And those questions will stay with us as we go further into Eliu's story.
So what happens next?
Well, he eventually immigrates to Israel.
Israel?
Serves in the IDF.
Wow.
Seems like he's trying to build a new life.
Yeah.
But then fate throws him right back onto the path of vengeance.
Really? What happens?
He learns that Stănescu joined the French Foreign Legion.
The Foreign Legion?
Yeah, and is fighting in Indochina. And this just reignites Eliu's mission.
Wow.
Big time.
It's like he's got to do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where things get really wild.
Okay, tell me more.
He deserts the Israeli Navy.
Deserts.
Yeah, which is a huge deal, obviously.
Yeah, huge risk.
And decides to go after Stănescu in the jungles of Vietnam.
So to, like, understand this.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the French Foreign Legion a bit.
Okay, yeah, good point.
So this wasn't your average military, you know?
Right.
It's got a long and often pretty brutal history. Attracted people looking for adventure.
Yeah.
Escape. Or even, like, redemption.
Redemption, huh?
The training was known for being super harsh.
Super hard.
Meant to make soldiers who could handle anything.
Anything. So Eliu willingly goes into this brutal world.
Wow.
All for the chance to confront the man who ruined his life.
That's some serious determination.
It's almost like an obsession.
Yeah.
And it shows just how powerful the past is for him, you know?
It's like he's still living back then, in a way.
Yeah, like he's stuck in a time warp.
Yeah, constantly reliving the horrors of the ghetto and the loss of his family.
Right. The present just can't compare to the intensity of what he went through.
And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of this deep dive.
Right. We'll follow Eliu into the heart of the Vietnamese jungle.
Ooh.
Getting closer and closer to that confrontation with Stănescu.
This is getting good.
Stay tuned, folks. This is one you won't want to miss.
I can't wait. So last time we left off with Eliu, he made that crazy decision to desert the Israeli Navy. And join the French Foreign Legion.
It's a big one.
All to hunt down Stănescu in Vietnam.
Right.
Really shows you how badly he wanted revenge.
Yeah, it's like he trades one awful situation for another one.
Totally.
I mean, the jungles of Vietnam in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
During that war.
First Indochina War.
Right.
Brutal.
It was no joke. Disease, those conditions, the Viet Minh.
Always a threat.
It's hard to believe he even made it out alive.
Yeah, I know, right? Let alone found Stănescu.
It's really something.
I think, like, surviving that shows how tough he was. You know, like this strong will he had.
But it comes from a dark place.
Yeah, true.
It's fueled by all that rage and trauma.
Right. Eliu spends, God, who knows how long.
Yeah.
Months, maybe years in the Legion.
Brutal training.
Yeah, dangerous missions.
All with this one goal in mind.
Revenge.
Yeah, and don't forget, this whole time, he's carrying all that baggage from his past, you know.
It's heavy stuff.
The memories of his family being murdered. The horrors of the ghetto.
Right. Like, you have to wonder how that messed with his head.
Totally. What did that relentless pursuit do to him?
Psychologically. Yeah, it's hard to even grasp that kind of burden.
I mean, we know trauma can really screw with you.
Oh, absolutely. Studies show that all that grief and anger that can have a huge impact.
In what ways?
Like, it distorts how you see things, messes with your decisions.
Okay.
Can even lead to self-destructive stuff.
So after all that,
yeah,
does he find Stănescu?
he does.
He does.
Yeah, the sources say it happened during a firefight.
Oh, what?
East of this village called Buckning.
Buckning.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Elio is a seasoned legionnaire by now.
Right.
Fighting with his unit, and bam, there he is.
Stănescu.
His commanding officer.
Oh, wow. What are the chances?
It's insane, like a movie or something.
It's crazy.
Imagine that moment, right?
Yeah.
The chaos of the battle.
Oh, the noise.
Yeah, the heat.
The tension.
And suddenly, he sees him.
What do you think went through Eliu's mind?
Oh, man. It had to be so many things at once.
Yeah.
Shock, right? Disbelief, rage.
Rage, yeah.
But also, probably this, like, cold satisfaction.
Like his moment had come.
Yeah. But what's amazing is he doesn't just, like, lose it.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't attack right away.
He waits.
Yeah.
But why?
Maybe he wanted to let Stănescu sweat a little.
Oh, okay.
Like, let him know what's coming.
Yeah. Drag it out.
Yeah. Or maybe he was waiting for the right moment.
To make sure he did it right.
Yeah, no mistakes. It's just so much restraint.
After all those years of anger.
I know.
It's incredible. So how does it actually happen?
How he gets his revenge.
Yeah.
Sources say it was cold, calculated.
Oh, wow.
They're fighting. There's a lull.
Okay.
Eli walks up to Stănescu.
Like it's nothing.
Totally calm. Tells him who he really is.
And then shoots him dead.
Just like that.
Boom. No hesitation, no struggle.
It's chilling.
It's the end of a very long road. I wonder if he felt, like, relieved.
You know.
Like a weight was lifted.
Maybe, but then what?
Yeah, what happens after the adrenaline wears off?
Right. He's still a deserter.
From the Israeli Navy.
Yeah, he can't just stay in the Legion.
Right, he has to deal with the consequences.
Exactly. So he goes back to Israel.
Knowing they'll arrest him.
Yeah. Not as a hero, but a fugitive.
And his trial in 1959.
Yeah.
It becomes this crazy mix of personal trauma and national identity. Here's this Holocaust survivor.
Right.
Who went through hell.
Yeah.
And now he's accused of a serious crime.
How does Israel deal with that?
Right. A country built by survivors for survivors.
It's complicated.
It's like this huge dilemma.
Well, on one hand, you got the law.
You got to follow the rules.
Military code.
Order, discipline.
But then there's the Holocaust.
Yeah.
The trauma, the pain, the question of what justice even means.
After all that.
Right. And the trial itself becomes like this microcosm of that struggle.
Yeah, okay.
The judges have to look at Eliu's actions and then look at what he went through.
Balance justice with empathy.
Exactly. It couldn't have been easy for them.
So what did they decide?
Well, he's guilty of desertion.
Not surprising.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
They recognize how messed up his situation was.
Yeah.
And they give him a super lenient sentence.
Lenient? Like how lenient?
1 year.
1 year.
But because of the time he already served.
He's basically free.
Pretty much. They even say, in view of the circumstances of the case, the court of the state of Israel cannot bring itself to impose a heavy sentence.
Wow. It's like they knew regular justice didn't apply here.
It's powerful stuff.
Do you think it was because of, like, collective guilt?
Maybe. It wasn't that long after the Holocaust.
Less than 15 years?
The wounds were still fresh, you know, the memory of it all, the loss, the injustice.
It was still there.
In the heart of the nation.
So maybe that's why they went easy on him.
It's possible.
So Ilya Itzkovitz, the Avenger.
The ghost from the ghetto.
He's finally free.
Free from prison, free from his quest.
But is he free from the past?
That's the question we'll tackle in the last part of this deep dive.
Right. What happened to Ilya after the trial?
Did he find peace?
Did he ever come to terms with all that darkness? We've been through a lot with Ilya Itzkovitz, haven't we?
We have.
From that peaceful beginning in Basarabia,
right,
to the Holocaust, Vietnam, that courtroom in Israel.
Quite the journey.
It's been heavy.
It has.
And now we're here at the end.
The big question, right?
What happened to him after that trial?
Yeah, it's interesting, you know.
What is?
How little we actually know about his life after 59.
Right.
There's this interview he gives to Paris Match.
Oh, the one where they call him Ellie the Avenger?
That's the one. But then, poof, he's gone.
Like a ghost.
It's almost like he got his revenge and just faded away.
Went back into the shadows.
I tried to find out more, spent hours digging.
I did too. There's just nothing.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah. Did he ever find any peace?
Or was he haunted by what he did?
By all that darkness.
It's hard to say for sure, but
right,
we know trauma can leave a mark, right?
Absolutely.
Even if killing Stănescu gave him closure,
yeah,
it doesn't erase all those years of pain and rage.
Right, they leave scars.
Mental and emotional.
It's like that saying, you know,
what's that?
Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig two graves.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one.
Revenge doesn't just hurt the person you're after.
It hurts you, too.
Exactly.
And with Eliu, it's even more complicated.
How so?
He was just a kid when his family was murdered.
10 years old.
That kind of trauma that young, it can really mess you up.
Or life.
It changes how you see the world.
Affects your relationships.
Everything. So we have this image of Eliu, right?
Yeah, this mysterious figure.
Forever marked by the Holocaust.
And by his quest for revenge.
But then, in 2015...
Okay.
This photo pops up on Facebook.
Yeah?
Shared by this guy, Joshua Sardo.
Joshua Sardo, okay.
Simple photo. Eliu's an old man now. Sharing a meal with Joshua, who calls him his friend.
His friend and neighbor. It's like a glimmer of hope, you know?
It is.
Maybe Eliu did find some peace after all.
That connection with Joshua.
And Joshua's words, they really stick with you.
Oh, what does he say?
He calls Eliu a hero in the shadows. A hero to the Jewish people.
Wow.
Powerful words, but they leave you wondering.
About what?
What does it mean to be a hero like?
A hero in the shadows.
Can we even call Eliu a hero after everything he did?
Those are tough questions.
They are.
And there aren't any easy answers.
Eliu's story makes us think about some hard stuff.
Yeah, like what's right and wrong.
How trauma affects people.
The legacy of the Holocaust.
Shows how complicated people can be.
He's not just one thing, you know?
Yeah, he's capable of love.
And rage.
Strength. Self-destruction.
He's a survivor, a vigilante, a fugitive, a friend.
The ghost from a world that's gone.
And that complexity, that's what makes his story so powerful.
It forces us to think beyond simple judgments. To see the gray areas.
The nuances of being human.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to think about this.
Okay.
Eliu's story isn't just about one man's revenge.
It's bigger than that.
It's about the darkness and the light inside all of us.
Right, that capacity for both cruelty and compassion.
It's a story that should stay with you.
It's one you shouldn't forget.
Makes you think differently about the world.
And about the people in it.
That's what makes these deep dives so important, right?
Absolutely.
They're not just about facts. They're about understanding ourselves.
And the world.
Asking tough questions.
Embracing the unknown.
Having conversations that challenge us.
To think critically.
To see things in new ways.
It's all about growth.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a privilege.
Into the heart of a truly remarkable life.
Eliu Itzkovitz, a man we won't soon forget.
We'll see you next time, folks.
Take care.